I think one of the things that inspires me most about you is that you keep I don't want to say reinventing yourself, but you keep coming back with like new growth on the tree. You keep coming back with something else to offer, and that's very inspiring to me. And I'm wondering if, like, hearing these old songs, does that inspire you in any way? Like,
well, these songs got to me when I first heard them when I was just a kid. So and I never forgot Bopalina. I never forgot that. I was just going, okay, that's out there, that exists, and you can go there anytime that you're ready to.
Yes.
You know, and you got to be with the right people, and everything's got to be right. Then you can get there, and I just love that kind of music, and but it's so radically different from my other music that I'm sometimes people can't go. They can't go both places.
right.
And that's, you know.
Well, you've done, you know, it's like we talked about this once before, but it bears repeating that I was in Studio 8H when you did Keep On Rockin' in the Free World, as was Jim, and I tell anybody, anybody, because Lorne Michaels, as is saying, television is the worst way to experience music, and I think he's usually right, except you and the guys did something happen that night.
Something was good, yeah.
Something was not just good, was transcendent and punched through the television. And I thought, well, okay, I'm on the floor at 8H. I'm a kid. I'm in my 20s. I'm watching you do that, and the place, you just melted it. I think there was structural damage to 30 Rock, and it's never been quite repaired. And I was blown away by that performance. And then go online and find out that people who weren't there, who just saw it on TV, feel the same way.
Yeah.
So when it did punch through.
Yeah,
it did punch through.
Yeah, I remembered that. You can't tell when that's going to happen, but it was very focused. The band was very good, and everyone was establishing themselves in a relationship with each other. There was 4 guys who never played together. I played with Pancho and Crazy Horse, but Steve and Charlie had never played with. They played with each other, but they never played with us. And God, it was just so good. And then we got in the studio. We played a couple of times. Then when we got to Broadway Video and we had our own dressing room, then they completely dismantled the dressing room between Pancho and Steve and Charlie. It was, you know, and then the staff came in and they looked at it and I was like, what the hell is going on here? I mean, they couldn't believe it. But to it was like a rock and roll myth, you know. You trash your dressing room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the Keith
So
Moon
these
school
guys
of,
trashed this dressing room.
Yeah.
And I'm going, okay, well, that's a rock and roll. That's a moment. But it seemed to be establishing itself, and no matter where we went, those kind of things kept happening. Like we were supposed to run down Rockin' in the Free World for the run through, and we did Fucking Up instead.
Yeah.
And didn't tell anybody. We just did that. And
because you didn't want to spend that coin on the rehearsal show.
No, but the Fucking Up that we did is really good too.
Yeah,
that was a good one. I think we have that.
But I mean, I don't think that's interesting because I don't think to do Keep On Rockin' at the dress rehearsal. You might not have been able to get there for air.
There is no rehearsal. You know, so we threw a song away that wasn't going to be in the studio and didn't tell them what it was going to be. So we didn't sacrifice it.
Yeah. Just
you didn't think NBC would be okay with Fucking Up? You sort of knew they wouldn't. So
we figured it wasn't going to be something they use.
It's a good thing you had that in your back pocket.
Yeah, that's a good one for that.
I always think whenever, if someone ever puts a video camera in my face, if I'm on the street and starts to ask me a question I don't want to answer, I'll just start singing an unclearable song by Led Zeppelin.
Oh, yeah.
And be like, look, if you guys can clear that, you can go ahead and hear my comments. But I might do that if I'm ever forced to testify in front of the Senate. There is so much goodness. You've brought so much more goodness into the world. World Record is the new album, and I do love it, and I do love how optimistic it is. Who is this on the cover?
That's my dad.
Is that your dad?
Yeah. That's my dad.
That's
in
a
the 50s.
good-looking. That's a good-looking, serious
Yep,
man.
He's a serious, good-looking dad. He was a writer, and he was writing for the Toronto Globe and Mail at that time.
Wow. Did he approve of your musical aspirations?
Not quite as much as my mom did.
Yeah.
My mom was totally supportive and got me everything and would go to the wall to get, anything that I needed.
Yep.
So I was able to make enough money playing and then getting help from her to get amplifiers and stuff like that.
Right. Right.
Well, I remember the big thing between my mom and dad about who's going to pay for this amp, he's got to have the amp. My mom said,
Your mom said, wow.
You cannot not have an amp. You have to have it, So I was looking at this Ampeg Echo Twin and another Fender Tremolux or something. And anyway, ultimately we got the amps.
I feel like you would have gotten them one way or the other.
I knew where they were. Yeah.
You would case the joint.